If you use your phone to film, then you have probably encountered this issue so many times, and that is the fact that if you want to get the best resolution out of your camera, of your phone, then you want to be using those rear-facing cameras. And you have really no idea what you're filming because you're looking at the back of your phone, you don't know what's in frame, what's in focus, what your composition is like, or even if it's recording. So this could become an issue if you're filming yourself on a tripod, or perhaps even when you're vlogging, or perhaps you want to do some form of top-down shot on your desk using your phone. So at no point can we actually see the screen of the phone, making it very, very difficult to actually film ourselves. But that can now be a thing of the past, as we can get ourselves a wireless display like this one here from Smallrig. So no matter where I put my iPhone, the Smallrig display is showing exactly what is on the iPhone screen. And it is also Magsafe, which means that I can attach this to the Magsafe bit on the back of my iPhone, and I can see exactly what those rear-facing cameras are seeing through the wireless display, which is stuck to the back of the phone through Magsafe. Is this a game changer for the filmmaking industry, or is this Smallrig display just a bit of a gimmick? Let's find out. Okay, so you can easily pick these up from Amazon and they're around about 70-ish pounds, but they always seem to be on offer for around about 60 pounds. And as you can see here, I did actually buy this one myself. Now there are two different versions you can get, one that comes with a cold shoe attachment, so if you use a handle for your phone, but the version I've got here is the vlog kit. And before we take a look inside, I just wanted to give a quick shout out here to Smallrig, who've really thought about their eco-friendly packaging and used minimal plastic inside. Personally, I think this is a really nice and positive touch. Anyway, let's get back to it. In here we actually have the display, which weighs about 137 grams, and it feels nice and solid in our hands and is made from an aluminium case and a plastic front screen. On the back we can see that circular Magsafe section, and then on the bottom there is a 1/4-20 thread to be able to attach this to a tripod. On the side we have a few buttons like the power button and two more to change the brightness. And finally next to that we have the USB-C port used to charge it, and as this is the vlog kit we also get a mini tripod with a ball head on top to easily change the angle. And this mini tripod does expand slightly, but not very much. And then we have the phone clamp, and I really like these two little sections here, which makes it super easy to pop our phones in and out. There are also two cold shoe mounts to easily attach other accessories like microphones and lights, and we can then attach this clamp to the included tripod, or any other tripod if we want to. We can then use this large round magnet on the back of the clamp to attach the display, and this magnet is super strong and I have no worries about it even falling off. We can then attach our phone to the clamp and we've got this really nice little filming setup. And yes, this phone clamp works in both landscape and in portrait. And finally, we also get a little Bluetooth remote to start and stop recording, a USB-C cable to charge the screen, and also a little strap that we can attach to that remote. Now I do think that the vlog kit and what you get is fairly decent, but it is quite plasticky. I feel like the screen is of a really high quality and a high build quality, but I feel like the plasticky tripod is very plasticky and very cheap, and it does feel a little bit flimsy. And this extension isn't much of an extension. It's like just over 4 inches, which is just over 100 mil. It's fine, but we can easily take that clamp off and attach it to any other selfie sticks or tripods if we actually want to. But if you don't want to use the included tripod and clamp, then you don't have to, because like I said, it's also MagSafe, and the MagSafe clamp section magnet to the back of the phone is fairly decent, and with like normal regular use, you know, walking around filming and stuff, it doesn't feel like it's gonna fall off. If we're quite vigorous with it, then it does slide around just a little bit. If you're gonna be really vigorous with it, I don't know, going on a roller coaster or something, well, I don't know why you would need this if you're doing that, then yes, I wouldn't trust it, because it is just the magnet that attaches to it. But for normal regular use, then I've got no problem with this being attached to the back of my phone. And yes, even if you use a case, then this MagSafe magnet should in theory work through it, but depends on how thick the case actually is. The only issue you might find is if you want to use any external lenses for the phone, then this display might get in the way. But to get around this issue, we could just put the phone and display back into the clamp, and this gives us a lot more room to be able to put external lenses on. And if you're wondering, the setup between the display and the phone is actually really simple. All we have to do is turn it on, and then a QR code will appear on screen. We then scan that with our phone's camera and then press join network. Then we just have to go into screen mirroring and make sure that Smallrig monitor is selected. Now we can properly see the screen's display, and it's a touch under 4 inches, and it will be showing exactly what's on your phone's screen because it's mirroring both. And there is a slight minimal delay, but hardly noticeable. Now there are 3 different brightnesses. With the display at its dullest setting like it is now, this will give you about 3 hours of battery life, and then by pressing the buttons on the side we can then go up to the brightest, and that will give you about 2 hours of battery life. And as you can see, the actual brightness doesn't change dramatically. We've got the dullest, the middle, and then the brightest. Now, the display and the brightness is never going to be as good as an iPhone screen. Just the price difference between one of these and an iPhone is obviously crazy difference. We don't really need this to be at its highest resolution, and we don't need it to be super bright either. For a reference for whatever the phone is seeing, I think that the screen and the brightness is pretty decent. But one thing to point out is this display does have a slight different aspect ratio to our phones, meaning that there will be a slight crop between the two. So if we're shooting in some scenes, or maybe in like portrait, we can actually see that the top and bottom of the screen is slightly being cropped off. And yes, if you're wondering, we can actually use this display to mirror anything which is on the phone. So this could come in really handy whilst we're traveling with someone. You could both be watching something and it's all going to be synced up together. And the distance between the two can be about 10 meters or about 30 feet, which should be more than enough for most people. But the further apart these two get, more chances of interference might kind of be introduced. For instance, walls and doors and trees and stuff. So the further apart they are, the more latency you might start to see between the two screens. But this is where that included Bluetooth remote will really come in handy, as we can easily start and stop recording our phones when it's not next to us. And when we are filming ourselves, sometimes you might find that the image needs to be flipped or mirrored, and we can easily do that by double pressing the power button. But this will only flip the screen vertically, not horizontally, so depending on what orientation you've got the display, this might be slightly annoying and kind of get a little bit confusing. Also, another slight annoyance is that if we look at a portrait image on our phone's camera roll, then it seems to display in the wrong orientation, no matter if we flip the image or not. Now, I don't know if this is an issue with the display itself or some strange bug in the software of the screen mirroring on the iPhone. And one thing I noticed that they've said online, that if you use the native camera app on your iPhone, that they recommend only using 24 to 30 frames a second at 4K to get the least amount of lag. If you then want to shoot 4K at 60 FPS with the native camera app, then the lag and the latency is going to be unbearable and pretty much unusable, which is a huge shame because I feel like most people are going to be using the native camera app and filming 4K 60. I mean, that's what the phone is kind of built for. But if you want to shoot 4K 60, then you have to use a different app. For instance, I would use the Blackmagic camera app, and shooting at 4K 60 on there, mirroring to the display, there is basically no lag at all. So it's some weird glitch or whatever it would be for the native camera app of 4K 60, but using a different app of 4K 60, then there is no lag or latency. So just something to bear in mind. Now, I've only tested this with iPhones, but it does say that it works with some Android phones, but it does state that it doesn't work with Google Pixel or Samsung S20 series phones. But overall, I do actually think that this is a great little piece of kit, and I do think that it will really come in handy. But it's not perfect, and there are a few improvements I would like to see. For instance, every time we turn the display on, we have to go through that QR section of the phone to sync the two together. I would really like if they just synced together once and then stayed sunk together, rather than having to scan the QR code each time. Also, I wouldn't be opposed to a slightly brighter screen, so it does stand out a little bit better in the bright sunshine. Also, I thought it would be really useful if this could be a bit of a battery pack for our phones, even if it doesn't work through the Magsafe section of the wireless charging, but to be able to plug a USB-C cable in here to top up our phones when we're out and about, I thought would be a really nice thing, but obviously that doesn't actually do it, and the two don't actually work together if we plug both of them in. And finally, something super simple I would love to have seen on this display is a little pull-out stand on the back of it, so we can easily prop it up on a desk without the need to use a big tripod. But anyway, that's enough from me. I really hope you have enjoyed today's video about the Smallrig wireless display. If you have, a like would be really appreciated, and if you're new here, a subscribe would be amazing as well. And I hope to see you here again soon.